stairs at home. Good evening, folks. Welcome. This is our first live back. It's been out since a couple of months, I don't know, a while back. Just before we get started, I just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who, when I was off, sent me mails and messages and stuff. But I'm taking it easy. But I'm on the road up, so I'm taking it easy. But just a massive thanks to everybody. And so tonight, our first guest is, she's over there. Jenni Sullivan. Now I might get your last name wrong, so don't shoot me. It's Jenni. Jenni's in.
Just call me Jenni Sullivan. The Sunyasi is just there because people can know who the Sunyasi one is. Or I could go into hibernation and just say Jenni Sullivan.
So Jenni is from Emerald Isle Paranormal. Before we started, Jenni, I've got a message for you from a Mr. David Anderson from Spike. He says you're not getting his voice recorder.
Yes.
So I'll let you.
Never say never.
I'll let you crash that one out together, dear. You know what I mean? So Margaret's in, Nando's here, Facebook user, Craig's here, he's one of our lot. But I'll let you two debate the voice recorder. I'm just the messenger.
He knows. I've been looking for that voice recorder. I've been looking for that voice recorder, and the prices of it are ridiculous. Absolutely stupid money, but I still want it. But I want David's one.
Maybe if the price is right, you might be persuaded.
Well, I mean, they got up to like 7,000. Hi, Laura. Right. They got up to like 7,000. Oh, it's Robin. Hi, Robin.
Robin. Hi, Matthew.
Good evening. Yeah, they're really expensive tonight.
Oh, that's Charlie Rutter's boy. Hi, Matthew. That's Charlie. His boy. Did you say he went up to 7,000?
Yes, eBay. Up
pounds
to
and euros.
Pounds and euros. Yeah, 7,000 pounds and euros. But 7,000. Some are 4,000, some are 7,000.
Jeez.
That's why I want David's.
You use your phone. You better have your phone.
Oh, I have my recorders here in front of me. But I want the Tascam and I want David's one. I want the Panasonic one.
Well, you can, I'm sure if you banter enough with David, you might. I know it's like gold dust to him.
That's his pride and joy.
I know.
That's his pride and joy. He loves that. So someday.
One day it'll happen.
Yeah.
One day it'll.
Mike and Rigga and David come back over to Ireland. Come on and do a mission with me. Bring your recorder with you. Don't forget it.
You says about your Scottish language book, right? And you told me to talk slow. You need to talk slow as well.
Really?
Because see that last bit you says, I did not get a word there.
Did it not? I can talk faster. What are you talking slow? But I can talk faster.
See if I smile and just nod.
You don't know what I'm saying.
I'm just agreeing with you because I don't have a clue what you say.
What did you say, Jen?
I'll just nod in agreements. Agreements isn't even a word, is it? Agreements.
Just thumbs up.
Scottish deaf. Scottish not deaf. I forgot. So Emerald Isle Paranormal.
Researchers.
Researchers. Okay. How did it come about?
How? Oh my gosh. I was on a team before for about 7 or 8 years, something like that. And the team folded. And I was too into the paranormal to stop. And I created Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers. I had a few people with me as well, but they didn't stay too long. They didn't last too long. You have to go through a lot of people to get your right people. My God, have I gone through a lot of people. But you got to have the ones who are just on the same level as you, passionate about the paranormal, and the rest were just thrill seekers. And I couldn't be arsed with that on my team. You work hard and play hard and you have a good relationship. And I have that now with my team. Mm-hmm. But it took a lot of donkeys. Sorry if you're all watching, but it took a lot of donkeys before I got the team that I have now.
Donkeys, you mean?
Donkeys, yeah.
As in EO?
Yeah. Yeah.
You thought you would have trouble understanding me, but I think it's the other way around.
Really? How do you understand me?
I mean, I watch a lot of Mrs. Brown, so I can speak Irish.
I forget, Jesus, whatever.
You're not a Mrs. Brown fan?
Oh, I do. I know her. I actually seen Mrs. Brown when he was Brendan O'Carroll, when he first ever started off in comedy and the showbiz of comedy. Excuse me. And he used to go to a pub in Drogheda, where I live, back in the days, called the Linen Hall, and he used to do his shows there. And you would be afraid to get up and go to the bathroom because he would call you out. But he started off there in shows before he even got famous. So yeah, so I do think it's hilarious. I think the show is hilarious, and it's a family-based show as well. They're all family on it.
They're all connected, aren't they? And one with a son and daughter, grandsons, the whole kind of bag.
Good crack, though. Good crack. He's brilliant.
It took you a while to get, that right kind of mix.
It did. It did. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And the right ones and the wrong ones. And, Jenny, what are you doing wrong? And I'm like, I'm doing nothing wrong. I very fair. And when I run my team, it's just the ones that kind of weren't on the same level as me. So it didn't work out. Yeah.
That's the thing. And I've spoken this in many a show, with other people as well. A lot of people who aren't in the team, basically, they'll watch investigations and blah blah blah, and they'll think, you just go out to a graveyard, mess about for 2 or 3 hours, and then go home. But they don't see what goes on behind the scenes, sort of thing.
Yeah, there's a lot of work, a lot of bookings, a lot of we have to go through insurance, booking locations. Now, thankfully, I do the same locations repetitively because I like to research these locations. I like to research them for years, and I have been doing to some of the locations, such as the Drogheda Museum, Millmount, Leap Castle, Redwood Castle. I'll be back in the Athenry Museum down in Enniscorthy in the south of Ireland in a few months. And these locations I've been for many years. And I'm only scratching the surface of most of them. Even the museum that I've been doing for 6, almost 7 years. I know a lot of people in it because they always come through. We know their voices, we know their accents, we know them, but new people come in that you don't know who they are.
You see, I'm glad you see that, because we found that over here. We did a place we're saying like Loudon Kirk. We've been going there for about the best part of 2 years. And I don't know how many investigations there, but we're building up a sort of, we've identified 4 individuals, 4 spirits. And do you find that you build up a kind of relationship with them?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. You walk in, you have your recorders running, you always go and say hi. It's not a place you're going into. So we always go in with respect and say hi to them, and we always say goodbye. But then when we listen back to it, we have our names being said. Here's Jenny. Yes, I'm back again. I'm back. And here's Lou or Niall or so on. But they get used to you, and you get used to them. Like last night when we were in the museum, when we did a playback, we have the same male voice in the kitchen area, but we have one new voice. He sounds British. He didn't like Alan, another male guy there. And so we're going to have to go through audio now and find out. We know a little bit of what's being said, and it was all cursing and language, and they didn't like, and we know a few words what was being said, but it still sounds like some of the same voices, if not 1 or 2 new ones. But we have the children, we have the ladies, we have the gentleman there, we have the woman and the man in the kitchen. So yeah, I think the rapport. I mean, most of the times when I go back to locations, you always get, hey bitch, like I'm back.
They call you bitch.
Yes, and I always say take a ticket and get in line. There's a big long line. Don't be skipping the queue.
Do you not feel that's the better way investigate? I mean, I've watched some investigations with teams, no disrespect to them, it's their way of working, but they're very, very serious and all the rest of it, and do you not think it's better that you've got that kind of rapport with the spirits, that they know you? They might not be in love with you, they might not like you, but they know you,
they know.
Keep going back, you might get to that stage that, she is okay, so I'll stop calling her bitch.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Instead of doing, I mean, we tend to do the regular locations, but don't get me wrong, we still go to different locations a one-off, but we think it's better if you get a good location, go at it and work with it, because that's what it's all about, I mean, you were saying earlier on about, you need to get the right mixture in the team. And that is important, because I was saying about the behind the scenes stuff.
Yes.
To make that work, you need to have the right people to make that work. You need to have the right, because as you said, a lot of work goes on behind the scenes. And there is. And it's no good just doing it yourself. Because
I always did it on my own. I did everything on my own. And if I say, me and my team are going out tonight, and I'd always was corrected, our team. And I'd say, sorry, our team. So I said it so long for, you forget yourself, my team. And then one certain person's like, our team. And I got to a certain point and I said, you put the work in that I put in. You do the audio, you do the video, you do the bookings, you do the insurance. Then we can say it's our team. Mm-hmm. It's my team tonight. If you don't like it, off you may go. This person was family and I don't speak to them anymore. Cutthroat, literally. Oh gosh, yeah, cutthroat. I work hard. I work really bloody hard. But now the team that we have, Lulu, she's just even ahead of me on the after work. Like, she's as passionate as me. And her husband, Niall, who's on the team, he's as passionate as me as well. Niall's kind of like the skeptic, believer but skeptic, which is a good way to think. And myself and Lulu, we're the same. We are the same. We get all the work done. Sorry, Niall, but you do the work. But me and Louise gets we get the work done. And there's a lot in it. There's hours of audio, video footage. We were seeking out new locations. We got that beautiful, fresh smelling of new insurance papers yesterday, to get us another year. And so we are going to the same locations, but we're seeking out new locations.
So what attracts you to a new location? You see you're seeking out new locations. I mean, in Ireland, as it is in Scotland, there must be dozens and dozens. What what gives you that spark when you look down or whatever?
The history of it, because one of the locations is in Drogheda, where I live. And Drogheda is one of the most historic towns. We have Oliver Cromwell coming over and, attacking Drogheda, and then he was attacking Wexford and so on. The location I do is where Oliver Cromwell had attacked. And sorry, my dog was snoring and it was distracting me. And they're beside the Battle of the Boyne. I'm beside the Boyne River, right beside it. And there was one particular place we kind of want to go into because we know we'll get something. Mm-hmm. And it's just wanting to do up the history of it. And I always say, not all history is written in books. There's a lot of stuff in locations that you find out. There's one particular location that I go to. And that's funny. Ireland is beautiful.
Ireland is beautiful.
It is. Hey guys, let me see. Oh, let me see. One of my team members is looking up. Oh yeah. Sorry, she's looking up. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. She was looking up what page we're on. So she's probably going to. I told her to request, so she's probably going to join. So I actually have to shout out to Emerald. But yeah, the history of the locations.
Oh, it's Kel. It's Kel Ridley. That's right.
It's the history of the locations. And we know in Drogheda where I live, it's so historic. Like we have Newgrange right beside us. Great place, you know, the solace and the winter solace and the summer solace, you go there. And it's older than the pyramids. It's older than the pyramids. So, and this is about 10 minutes. I'm like, myself and Lou only found out about 4 weeks ago, there's a castle 10 minutes away from us. Like we're traveling 3 hours down the country to go to castles, and there's one right beside us.
And that's what I find fascinating. We were at a castle yesterday, and I was lucky enough to get a tour of the castle, and it was a tour guide was telling me, you know, she was a fantastic lady. But you know, she was telling me all this, the bits and pieces, dates, names, and stuff. And you know, you only kind of take like a quarter of it in.
Aye, yes.
You know, but I did say to her, I says, you know, we're only like 15 minutes up the road, basically, and you don't realise the history that's actually on your doorstep. Even Kilmarnock, the history here. This is used to be a great mining town.
Oh wow!
Years and years back. And you don't realise the amount of history that's actually just outside your front door.
Yeah. You have your own time to investigate.
I've got a question for you, right? I've got a couple of questions, but this is one question that I'm curious, because you've been in the paranormal for a long time, and you've done a load of locations, you know. I'm not saying you're a fogey or anything, just say you know, a lot of locations. I was through a couple of weeks ago with a question. I have a castle around from me I didn't know about it too. But that's what's going on. We've got a castle that's like less than 10 minutes drive. But it's only like a brick wall now, that's all that's left there. Yeah. But it was an actual castle. It's got ties with William Wallace, seemingly. It's up the hill, you know. But anyway, the post I put up, it was who visits who. So you were saying about that location you do where they call you bitch, and you know.
Yes.
You got to see when you go to a location, right? Take for instance an old abandoned house, and you get spirits. You get intelligent responses for spirits there, right? Mm-hmm. Now, do you think that their answer? Do you think they see the surroundings as it is today, or when it was back in their time?
I think
are you visiting them, or are they visiting you?
I've been asked that question before, and I'm like, paranormal is confusion enough, let alone when someone said, you know, Tracy, my friend said, you know, maybe we're dead, and they're the ones who's investigating us.
I've heard that one as well.
And I said, you know, no, we're not doing that. We're alive. They're dead. We're investigating them. Let's just knock it back to the chalkboard to, you know, delve into that. But I think it's a little bit of both. Do you ever hear, like, you know, when on locations where, say, somebody had walked in through the wall, where they would have been a door would have been there. So that would be, for me, would be like residual. It would be residual. Like Mike was saying, they visit us. They do visit us. I think it's a little bit of both.
It's always something that's fascinated me, and I've asked you know, a few people, but I want to ask you because you've done quite a lot of investigations. You know, no disrespect to anybody else, but you know, I was curious to get your input on it.
Yes,
they could be alive in a different dimension or time slip.
Yeah.
You know, there's that many different theories to the paranormal, really, and I don't think anybody will ever understand. That's how I like to keep things basic and simple, because I'm thick as, you know. And when people, well, I said that before, when people start talking science and all the rest of it, I'm lost.
Well, me too. You know. Me too. Sometimes I am. Sometimes I get it, but it's just. Like when we go to locations, we're checking temperature. We're doing the whole baseline. We're checking the temperature. We're checking doors, floorboards, locations that we know, where we know the creaking floor is. Like we know the museum inside out. When we're in the kitchen area and we hear creaking, we know someone's upstairs. Like one of our team members is upstairs, so we can debunk that. the whole site. I'm like, when it comes to the audio work that we do, the EVPs, that's what I'm intrigued with. When we do the ITC as well, when we do the phones, where that's it. I mean, when we do the ITC, where we have my mobile phone, I'll ring someone on the phone on speaker. They will take that phone down into the kitchen area of the museum or a different location, wherever we are, with a recorder. We go up to a different area of the building and we call out through the phone. So then when we take and you can hear things coming through the phone. And then when we take the recorder back, we stop the call, we take the recorder back. When we do a playback, it's like last night we did that, probably about 4 or 5 in the morning. And the conversation that was going on in the kitchen, but these were the ones who were angry. So that's what I'm intrigued when it comes to science part. That's what I'm intrigued with. And the spirit boxes, when I was in Lep Castle and a question was asked, and through the spirit box, the word bitch was said. I was being called a bitch. And then someone said, can you call Jenni a bitch again? So you'll hear the word bitch again. But when I was doing the audio work on my recorder, you'll have a man saying, hey, Jenni, you're a, and then on the spirit box comes out with the word bitch. So there's 2 different equipment that the audio was caught on, spirit box and the recorder. So we want to check with the waves and the frequencies, how that happened, why it happens like that.
See, I mean, we try and debunk as much as possible. You've got to, I just put this comment up for Laura. A glitch in the matrix is off the subject then, but yes, it's
I can make her fit all the time. I'm gonna let my dog in. My dog is having a moment outside. Wait until you see her jumping in the window. I can hear her crying. Ready? Come on. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Jesus. I could hear her at the window, and she has anxiety of trying to get in the window, so I had to open up and just let her in so she can.
You need to let her in, but Laura's talking about it's hectic paranormal. They're from Australia, Jem and Kate, 2 lovely ladies. They done a live once, and it was about a glitch in the matrix. And I swear down, I lasted 5 minutes, and I did not have a clue what they were talking about.
Oh, that's bloody.
I kept commenting, you've totally lost me.
That's crazy.
Different dimensions and I can't remember now because I was totally confused. I thought I give up.
You had a glitch in the matrix?
No, it was the hectic paranormal. They'd done a show and they were talking about this glitch in the matrix theory. You know, and they were going into the science and I was just totally lost. I gave up. You know, I was one of these shows. It was a good show, but you think I'm way out. Really. You know what I mean?
I'm scratching the surface of the paranormal. There's a lot that we don't know. We know what we need to know for now. But when someone said to me before, I said to someone before, how much do you want from the paranormal that you could stop at one point? Like once you go into paranormal, I don't think you'll ever stop the paranormal. I don't think every week I'm retiring because I'm dying.
I mean, you know, you get people out there. I mean, I don't know what it's like in Ireland. You know, over here on the mainland, shall we say? You know, on the big bit of the UK, there's a lot of competition, and teams wanting to prove the paranormal exists. We're not interested in that. That's what it's about. To me, we're not investigating. Being the paranormal is just communicating with spirit. We're not trying to stand up and say, right, you know, but we proved that the paranormal is real.
I tell you, I think everybody has gotten great audio, great evidence. They've done great stuff, but there's a lot more great stuff to get from it. Not one like, you know, one would say, well, we got the best audio, we got the best video footage. That's bloody brilliant. Well done. I love to see it. But then you keep moving on and you keep doing your own investigations. Like I know like 1 or 2 Class A EVPs that I'm bowled over with. Then my own audio is some of them are bloody Class A EVPs. Everyone's the same. There are a few teams now that are buds that is just bull crap. And it's just, if I need to sleep and I can't sleep, I'll watch it, because then I would nod off in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the other teams who are genuinely fascinating, who give credible evidence. So the ones who are in competition with each other, don't even try, because I'm not there for it, because I'm not even entertaining you for 2 seconds.
We've been fortunate enough with some good EVPs and etc. and what have you, and some really good evidence. And all right, you give yourself a pat in the back, that was a good capture. But then you move on, and that's it. But unfortunately, over here you get too many teams that are wanting to prove, and everything's paranormal with them.
Yeah, we have that here too.
It could be a dog farting.
Yeah, it's paranormal. Did you see that mist on the thermal flare? It's paranormal.
Did you hear that? That was paranormal.
Yeah. Pareidolia. Don't you love pareidolia? We have a team, and I'm not going to say who they are. Well, that's it, Laura. Absolutely, totally. There is a team here in Ireland, and I kid you not, every wall, completely. Every wall has a face. It's kind of like, oh my God. And sometimes I say to myself, Jennifer, don't comment. And I don't comment, because it ain't my monkey, it ain't my circus. Because if you do comment saying, well, this is what I think, you're shut down because you didn't believe them. So I'm thinking, if you think it's a monkey swinging off bars, well, then that's what it is. And it's not. But these, you kind of red tape them. And that just, I won't say what I was going to say. And that's good, because my filter's working. It's a good thing. But that just...
There's teams here, I don't know if you saw it or not, it was last year, maybe, I don't know, maybe around about May, June time, so I don't know, but there was the fire extinguisher photograph.
Yeah. I think everybody's seen that one.
That's fine.
Yeah. And I got pictures of fire extinguishers. Oh my God, I got a Class A picture, but it's just kind of taken.
It was associated with the twins for The Shining. I caught the twins from The Shining in a photo.
Oh my God, I've seen that. I think everyone's seen that.
It was two fire extinguishers. We've took photographs in the past, and we've thought it's been one thing. When we first started way back, we took a photograph. I think it was Greyfriars, and it was at the side of the Kirk building, and it looked like, the only way I could, it was a wizard. That's the only way I could describe it. Had a beard, and it was a group we were in at the time, and we posted it and says, look, any ideas, and this guy came back and says, look, I've took it apart. He says it's a plant pot, and she's right, wow. And the guy, I think he said as a copy, he says, look, mate, it's a plant pot, but looking at it in your other photograph, it does kind of resemble, because of the shadow or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the same. And we were in Lep Castle, and there's a bottle of water on the table, a 1.5 litre of bottle of water on the table, half drank. We were in Lep Castle. We were in the banquet room, which is the second floor. It was 7 or 7:30 in the morning, and the sun was coming in, and up on the it's in the banquet room. It's where the elemental is supposed to be around. It's a balcony. So up on that balcony, actually not there, just on the further side of the wall, it looked like the Virgin Mary.
Mm-hmm.
You had you had the head here, and then you had the shoulders, and it looks like this shroud going down around her. It was just a bottle of water.
But it looked like...
and that's when I had it on the page saying, this, pareidolia, this is like pareidolia explained. What would look like the Virgin Mary is a bottle of water sitting on the table with the sun coming in.
But then you're going to get other teams that are going to say, "Oh no, definitely."
Oh yeah, I used to have not a debate with them, not a debate, a conversation with them to say, no, it's this and that. But when you tire out, the best part of paranormal is when you tire out explaining to people what they will not understand or listen to.
Some people just don't get it.
Freedom. That's the Hopi. That's the point of freedom in the paranormal, when you stop when you not that you don't care what the others do or whatever, if they think it's a monkey swinging off bars, well then that's what it is. It's a monkey swinging off bars. And once you get to that level in the paranormal, it's plain sailing. No competition, no discussions, no arguments, no drama, nothing like that. It's plain sailing. I am there. I am there.
Comments against photographs with phone people, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. And I wrote back saying, listen, no disrespect. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying what I think, and that's it. And but unfortunately, in a lot of groups or whatever, you're not allowed to do that.
As people say, if you put the work up, expect opinions. But if you don't want opinions, don't put them up. You gotta take the good and the bad with it. I'd have audio put up and people say, "Oh, I can't hear what you're hearing," and I'm like, "Great, tell me what you hear." It took me a few years to let the strictness of myself and my love of audio go, that I would accept what people have heard. And I'm like, next time we go back, we're going to ask for what you hear, and so I'm more relaxed and not uptight about my audio like that. I love it. There's ones that I know what is being said and people can't make out what's being said, but those are my babies. I'll defend those 100%. The other I'm not too sure of, and like when Lulu does audio, we do audio together. Sometimes we'll send each other over audio work and combine our heads together to see what it could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And other people will say, "Well, I don't hear what you hear," and they'll tell me what they hear, and I'm like, "Fantastic! We will note that down and call out for what you heard."
Exactly. We don't all hear the same thing or see the same thing, And I might think I can hear a train.
Yeah.
But else thinks you can hear a dog. And sometimes you do feel like saying, but that's what you think you hear. That's fine. I think I hear a train. And
and then I think when you go back to that location, just say, was there any train stations nearby, or did you have any pet dogs? So then you're using two questions from what people have heard, so you can try and get the answer. It might not be the answer, but
either one of you is right or both of you are wrong.
That's
this is a mysterious one that I know a lot about. Get loud and cut. We done one of the investigations here. There was about 7 or 8 A's there at the time, and there's a headstone in the kirk. There's no inscription on it, but it's a Celtic cross.
Aye, okay.
I would send you a photo, but I got a USD card from my phone and it wiped everything out that I've got.
Oh, there was a Celtic cross. I was going to say was there a medieval cross in it, but it was a Celtic cross.
I'm sure it's called a Celtic cross. But we took a photograph, and there was a little girl, black hair, doing about there, with a dress or something on, peeking round the side of this headstone.
Yeah.
And I showed it to everybody at the same time, and everybody's seen the same thing. Everybody's seen this little girl. But when I went back to look over the photographs again, she was. And
did you have her in the pictures?
She was when I took the photo. It's really as strange, and I puzzled quite a few people with this one.
Aye.
When we took the picture, and I looked, I said, "Look at this," and everybody kind of gathered round, and there's a wee girl there. And then I was later on that night, whatever. Next time I was scrolling through the photo, and I looked to that photo, and I went, "That wee girl's not there. Why is she not there?" And I said to everybody, that picture, says, we all seen the wee girl in the picture.
Strange. That's something, I'm writing that down now, so I want to look that up. I'm actually writing this down so I could look that up.
Well, I guess she's clear as day. All of us saw, but looking back at the photos.
Wow.
And paranormal or nothing. It's just we couldn't explain it.
Was it taken with a phone or taken with a camera?
No, I was taken on a phone.
And that was missing from the phone? Like she was missing from the picture on the phone?
Missing from the picture. The cross was in the picture. The cross was there.
Wow.
She just wasn't in it. And this day, I'd actually forgotten about it till Laura brought it up. It's not something we go in, but you know,
It's kind of like the audio. Exactly. It's kind of like the audio as well. When you hear something and you have heard it and you've saved it to play it again, and you played it a few times. When you play it again and it's not there, and you know it was there, but then when you go to look for it, it's not there anymore.
it's good.
Finished, it disappeared.
We debated it for, I don't know, a couple of weeks, and then we kind of the fire kind of went out, and we thought, right, well, we'll just put that done.
Can you go back again and take the picture again? Is this the location you can go back to?
This is the one that we're working at quite regular, Loud and Kirk. But it was just, you know, but we have picked up on a little girl there, Spig, as well. We do a lot with Spig, and regular, and that was one night, and they picked up the same little girl, Lisa, and her dad's there called Ian. So we don't know if this was maybe a wheelchair or no that we managed to capture, but you know, it's one of these signs, we just can't explain it. She was there, and then she was gone, and don't know. So we did,
especially with a camera phone.
It's just, and I'm not technical enough to try and.
I'm going to look that up and find out. I'm going to ask a few questions as into why or how that happened.
I do believe, and it's happened to us quite a few, that spirit can mess about with your cameras and stuff. I think, also, I want your opinion on it, but I think spirit, I mean, we all know that spirit has the capacity to learn, you know, especially, you know, when we pass over, we don't just stay and that's it. We don't, you know, but they have the capacity to learn. And it's happened to us a few times, your cameras went off before activity started.
Oh, yes. Many times. And I know, like, something would have happened. I have a camcorder facing the stairs and another camcorder facing down the stairs with toys on the stairs with a recorder and a REM pod. And we went to check on, Laura, I will definitely look into it. And when we went to check on the toys, the ball had fallen down the stairs. And I had placed the ball in a little, it's stone steps, so a little groove on the steps that it doesn't roll. It would have to be pushed with a recorder and a REM pod beside it, and toys for boys and girls. And so when we had to we went back out to that area, the ball was down on the ground. So we were like, oh my God, okay, we have it on camera. No, we don't have it on camcorder. Even though the camcorder was plugged in to make sure the battery didn't drain, it wasn't turned on. And it was my camcorder, so I know to watch the numbers moving, so I know it's recording, see the record button and so on. And I'd seen that. Oh, so I thought I saw it. You know, when you kind of question yourself, did I put it on? But you know from routine, okay, check, loom light on, start the camcorder. You know these are the checks that you do. And then I was second guessing myself. I know I turned it on. I did turn it on. I wouldn't walk away without turning it on. So when we listen back to the recordings, you will hear the ball being pushed, falling down the stairs. The REM pod goes off, and it just lands at the bottom as if it was kicked. But we don't have it on camera. So yes, they can manipulate your equipment, especially if in electronics. And I find the more we use, the less we get. Camcorders, they do not do camcorders. Now, we have, in the last 2 weeks, got something really great from the museum on camcorder. We have the sensor lights going off. And we have it all on video. I will get it up on the page. I will put it up. But these are the sensor lights. They will go off regardless. But anything, technology, equipment, electricity, they can manipulate.
Sam, we did a place called Caldwell 2 months or something. We've done, I don't know, about 10 investigations. We've done quite a few investigations here. And one of the first ones we done with a camcorder, it was the old stairwell kind of thing. I mean, it's fallen apart. There's no roof or anything on this, but it was a beautiful big house in its day. And I put a locked off camera in the corner of the stairwell. And we started investigating. We started doing our bits and bobs, and quite a lot of evidence. And it was the next day I was looking at the footage, and the camera cut off. I think it was like 6.5, 7 minutes. The camera just switched off, And I thought about it, though, it was around about that time that stuff started to happen. And you can clearly see, because we were recording it, I think it was 2 cameras, and you can clearly see the locked off camera in the corner, and nobody is near it. Nobody, but the camera was off. And so we started us thinking, maybe Spirit doesn't want us to record them.
That's it. I do believe that. Many times we've had camera. Now we did have, and I do have the video of it, when myself and Alan went in the museum, and we were up, only the 2 of us. Summer's evening, there was only 2 of us in the building. We had set up a camcorder up on the 3rd floor. And then we had left the museum for about an hour and a half. We went and got some food and so on. Came back and continued on with the night's investigation. We came back here to my house and went over the video footage. And you will see the camera going up and down, up and down. So say, well, it's the hallway where we get a lot of activity. And so say we're looking at the camera for about 40 minutes to an hour. If not, you'll see the camera kind of going up and down like that. It's like literally being moved up and down. It's not even shaking. It is being moved up and down, up and down. Then you hear touching. Oh, because look, you'll hear the touching of the camcorder, like touching like that, and then you'll hear a male breath. We were not in the building at this time. You hear us coming into the building, so that was fine. And that, I think, only last year, because that was about, say, 3 years. Only last year I got it onto the DVD and USB and so on. Say 10 minutes into it, there's sound. After that, there's no sound. You will see the video, you'll see the picture, but you'll not hear anything. You will not hear the male breath. You will not hear the tampering with the camcorder. You won't hear any of that. That's just wiped out. We don't know if the guy who did it for us did something to the tape. It was a mini tape. If he damaged it and we lost the sound. But from the first 10 minutes when me and Alan were setting up the camera and so on and leave, and you can hear the door closing, then you lose sound after that.
Sound there, and Spirit's removed it, same as the photograph.
The sound was definitely there. We heard it. We watched back on the camcorder. Alan had the tape for about 2 or 3 years, and he said, right, time to get this put onto a disc or USB stick. And we did. And then any other tapes that he did for Alan, like the family tapes and so on, all the sound is on all of them. Just this one, the sound is gone. We are not impressed. I even mailed the guy and I said, hey,
Was he doing my recording?
I did. Oh, I'm that person. I did. And I said, did you damage the tape? Did you damage the ribbon? This is one piece that we needed. He goes, no, they just did whatever he did. But I wasn't there, so I don't know. But that's the only tape that didn't has sound for like 10, 15 minutes maximum, and the rest of it is gone.
See, that's the thing. When you know that it was there, when you know you've heard something or seen something, and as you were saying earlier on about skeptics, and there's just some people out there that will never ever believe. Doesn't matter, no way Casper lands in their lap, I'm here kind of thing. There's just no way you're ever going to convince them. I mean, you do a lot of events.
Don't do public events.
I know, but you do a lot of events, investigations, and you get other people in.
We'll get people to join us. We'll preferably get teams to join us. I know on the 28th of April and the 29th of April, the team and guests are heading to, going to find out. Once I get my teeth around something, I'm going to find out why this happened, why it happened. But then the 29th of April and the 28th of April, Redwood Castle, 29th of April, Lep Castle. So, and we have some of Louise's family coming with us. We have my friends coming with us. These are people that we know. I don't think we'll take anyone that we don't know on the location with us. Not yet, anyway. I'm very strict.
I know this cat. She's here somewhere.
I've got the four cats. One has to pop upstairs that doesn't stop crying, and it's a lot of work.
I mean, you do investigate. You got other people there, members of the public, but you involve them. The reason I'm asking is I watch some teams over here. There's one team in particular, and they do events, and whenever and they'll put them up on YouTube. And I've watched a couple of them, even though I cringe, but I watch them. But I always see her. She's there. You're there. She's there. It's when they do their experiments, it's team members only that do them. Don't let the public, they
just watch.
They don't say the public.
I get them involved because I like fresh meat. I get them involved. If you want to go to a room by yourself and call out, go for it. Let me know how it goes. Take a radio with you in case you need us. But let them experience it. They're paying to do an investigation. They're not paying to sit and watch you. They're paying to do an investigation with you. Say in the first hour and a half, my team will be calling out and adjusting the new people to this location. Be safe. Don't walk around because we're going to castles. And then after about an hour and a half, we'll get them used to the location and the names we're calling out. And then once they get the gist of it, call out, experience it, do an experiment that you want to do. Of course, yeah, they're paying for the location to come with you and do an investigation. Yeah.
I just think it makes the teams that do, that only do this look quite dubious. Just my opinion.
I don't get it. That they could sit and watch you on the live because they're not getting involved. Let them call out. Let them experience an investigation. This madam here behind me came to the museum with me, and she was calling out, and that was our first time in the museum. Yeah.
What was your thoughts on it?
I never experienced paranormal before myself. It was the first time doing it, and I could sense that there was presence there.
See that's the best way. I've said to people, people say I don't believe in the paranormal. I say, that's your belief. That's fine. I respect that. And then I says, but have you never had something happen to you in your life that you cannot explain? Whether it's seeing something, hearing or feeling something. Have you never had anything? Well, maybe I have. I said, I'm not saying it's paranormal. I said, but people expect the paranormal to be, like chairs and tables flying about and ghost adventures and blah, 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 demons everywhere. I said, but it can be the slightest thing. It can be a cup moving an inch. All right. I said, no, you don't need a chair flying over your head.
Definitely not.
I've never had that happen to myself to this day. See, it can be, your cup moves. I'll tell you a funny story, right? Totally unparanormal related, but years and years ago, me and one of my mates were in a pub, and back then you could smoke in pubs, and two of us were sitting, and I don't remember the metal ashtrays used to get with your tenants or whatever on printed.
Yeah.
We were sitting, there was this metal ashtray in the middle of the table, and it was moving across the table. Very, very slow, but a bugger. And the two of us were sitting staring at it. So we started thinking this place is haunted or not. But it wasn't. The barmaid came up and wiped the table.
I was going to say wet.
The table was wet.
Yeah.
But the two of us just sat there staring at it's moving. We were ready to put it off, you know what I mean? But then this wee bar, I'll dry the table for you, son.
But isn't it great to debunk something? Like we did the same last night of debunking something. It's good to debunk things. Oh, I know, Laura. I know. Oh Jesus! Listen. There's a team a few days ago saying we're going into no more. We're going into retirement. We're going into retirement. And I said to a friend of mine, I'll bet you now by the end of the month they'll be back. And I seen a post up saying, you never know, we could come out of retirement. And I'm like, I say, you owe me €50. Because I think it's attention. And I say, everyone's like, oh my God, don't leave, watch us. And I was going to come and say, and on another note, Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers will be out tonight live. Join us on Emerald Isle Paranormal. Next, move on. Because I think it's just for attention. It's for attention. And I know not all teams go through evidence. That's fine. They just do on the night investigations and they do playbacks, and that's great. We would sit on the computer and do work. And even I see the one here, Facebook user saying, "Hey, guy, that's Louise. That's Lulu. She's on my team. She's on Emerald Isle."
Hey, Lulu.
Louise, we call her Lulu.
Hey, Lulu.
She's at work. She's at work tonight. But we sit and go through hours and hours of audio, like bloody hours. And you then learn when, of people whispering or people are talking, and we'd have to go through that same piece time and time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
And if we can't get it, we can't understand what it is, it doesn't get saved. We just don't deal with that. But I think of my audio, some of the videos we will still put up. Now we've created a new YouTube channel, so when we go live, we'll go live on YouTube. But I think most of the audio that we have, it's all saved on SoundCloud. Not many of them will go up anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Not many will go up at all. You could spend weeks doing audio and put the best of the best ones up. And some people will listen and some won't, but it's there for anyone to listen to. If they want to listen to it, it's there for people to listen to. I think some of them are just way too good not to be heard.
I know Laura's talking about, you've seen the posts and they'll say, that Saturday we're heading to, X, and so,
Right.
and then they'll put a post up on Sunday and Monday. Oh, what a fantastic night we had, the fantastic evidence we captured.
Mm.
And it's happened a few times. We're probably one people here. I'm not going to name them, but, and what a fantastic, the evidence we got was amazing. But you never see it.
No, that's it. That's what we get that too here in Ireland. We get the same thing. Fantastic location. The evidence was amazing, and you're sitting there waiting to hear something. We got to hear what we heard. We got to. That's the cat and my rubbish bin in the kitchen. But you're waiting to hear something, and you get absolutely. That's the cat at my bin, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's not that you're trying to boast. I mean, we've had some good captures and we put them up. I mean, we're not wanting people, we don't put up and think we want people to say, "Oh, look at us, we're fantastic, we're the best team in the UK because we caught such and such." That's what it's about. It's just a case of we got this good capture, we can't explain it, and you share it.
That's what we do. That's what we do. I know Lulu put up a video a few weeks ago from the castle that we realized was 10 minutes on our doorstep, and something that we didn't know was there at the time. We don't know what it was, so it was put up for people's opinions.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what most of the opinions were. Somebody said shadow or our shadows and so on, and we can confirm it wasn't our shadows. We know this. I know it was in the dungeon area of the castle. But we were standing on one side, and if it was our shadows, you will see our shape of our bodies, you'll see our hands, you will see our heads, you'll see, you will see the body, the shape of your body on the wall. But this something, whatever it was, came from the ground. It came from on the ground in the corner. It's black mist or black mass that goes towards us, then goes back and goes up against the wall. And it looks like it freezes on the wall. We don't know what it is. Oh gosh, yeah, that one. That was from the Drogheda Museum element. That was when we had left the REM pod and the recorder in at 2:30 in the afternoon. Myself and Alan were there doing some work, and we had left it there. We were doing a live when we had left the stuff here. So you'll see us leaving the museum. The next day, Alan was working, so he would go in and pick up the recorder and REM pod and so on. So he went through the audio, and what we had gotten was about, say, 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes, something like that, probably even more, of just like a battle, like a gunshot battle, an attack, which would be very relevant to the Drogheda Museum in Millmount because the Martello Tower was being attacked by Oliver Cromwell.
You see, when you get stuff like that you know that nobody's outside shooting guns or anything.
Yeah, I tell you, that's it. You hear the guns being loaded. You'll hear the sound of the bullet going through the air. You'll hear so much. I'll send it on to you. And then the reason why Alan was asking me last night, why would the REM pod go off if the attack is going on outside? But on that audio in the building, you will hear male voices. You'll hear it like a gun is being loaded up, and then the REM pod goes off because somebody footsteps has gone by it. So it's basically like residual. It's just
the red pod still picks it up, obviously. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. The REM pod would have set off, and you'll hear the footsteps and the guns. It's really, I must play it for you later, Aggie. But it's absolutely one of our best ones, I think.
What was happening in your
yes.
COVID-19?
Yes.
That's a lot of talking. That's a lot of talking.
I'm not kidding you. Oh Jesus, we had a few that night. we had a few. We did 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. talking.
Hey, Dennis, buddy.
Hi, Dennis. We were bloody shattered. But then, you have a few. Huh?
You would be. I say it too quick there.
Oh yeah, we were shattered. I don't know if that's Scottish or Northern Ireland. I don't know. It's really bad. My daughter's father is from Scotland. But yeah, we had a few drinks and we said, right, let's, Jenny always has a recorder or two on her table. So I said, right, let's do a wee bit of a call out. And we did. And it was myself, Nando, and Brian at this stage. Poor Brian came into when me and Nando had a few. And we did a playback. You'll get a male's voice. I don't know if Nando, if you remember what was said, but you do get a male voice. Oh, there's always a man in my house. Unalive. Always unalive.
So your house is haunted then?
Yes. But he doesn't do anything. He doesn't pay the rent. He doesn't put the heating on. He doesn't put the kettle on for coffee in the morning. He doesn't earn his keep in my house, but he's still here. And every time I talk about him, something happens.
So he just sits about in his backside, basically doing diddly?
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah. It started with the back door opening. Is this the white door here? Because I know a few people said that door has opened. But I'm thinking, is it just the click that it is not tight enough? That it wasn't closed properly? I don't know.
There's 2 or 3 spirits in here, but they tend to, live and let live. I had in my old flat years ago as well. There was things happened. One was people in work didn't believe me when I told them, but back then I was quite OCD with the flat, and every night before I went to bed, I'd turn the TV off and I'd put the remotes in front of the TV.
Aye.
I done it without, just one day I couldn't find the telly remote, and I myself, and I couldn't find this remote anywhere, and just by chance, I was getting into the bedroom and I noticed something black under the bed, from the middle, the floor under the bed, and I looked down and it was the telly remote.
Is this in the place you're in?
Underneath the bed. And I said to people in the work, and they were saying, you must have done it. I said, well, why would I put my TV remote halfway under my bed? Another time there was, my dad had a habit that when you lock your front door, you always turn your key 1/4 to the left.
Aye.
So done. He says, when anybody's trying to break in, son, they can't shove the key out the door. And so it's a habit that I get into as well. And one particular morning, I went to leave for work and the keys were not in the door. I found them on the coffee table. I couldn't explain it.
Is this in the place that you're in now, or a different place?
No, this is the old flat I had. There's stuff happened in here. Got a laser grid capture on one of the walls, keys swinging, the cats keep, looking into certain corners. Twice I've been lying on the bed and I've caught very, very, very quick a male figure, a shadow, by the door, kind of whoosh, But
that's it. I think that whoever's in my house, the man that's in my house, is not just in my house, that he has followed me. And that's what people think. And I don't know. I don't get it. I don't know. But I do know on locations I've been to and locations I've ever been for the first time ever. And when I listen back to an audio, you'll hear someone right behind my shoulder saying, Jenny. Always saying my name for years. I think because I got really angry about it. Say last year, I just got really fed up with it. I haven't heard my name properly being said since. I was doing a show one night in America. I think it was probably 2 or 3 in the morning. And we were talking and just joking about and so on. And I had gotten a new microphone. And we're all talking and stopped talking for a second. And then all of a sudden I hear this, Jenny. And I'm smiling. And all of a sudden I go, and I'm looking at everyone else, like 5 people on the panel, like as if to say, did you hear that? Did nobody hear that? But I didn't say it because I thought I heard it myself. But I did a playback on the live. And you'll hear the static coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And then it stops. And then you hear the static coming through as if it's getting ready. And then it goes, Jenny. And it's like the head is like right up beside my microphone. His mouth. And it happened on another show. So it's like electronics, of course they're going to manipulate it. Even on the lives that we do on locations that you have, when you ask questions, you get answers through your phone on the live. You hope to get them up on your recorder so they match. Like I have one of them up on the page. Louise put one up on the page last week when I was saying, do you want to play a game of cards? And this is on the live, and you'll hear a male saying, yes. But we didn't hear it there and then, but it's on the live. But no one heard it on the live. But when we watched it back, you hear it then.
That's when you hear it. See, that happened a lot at Caldwell, and we listened back to stuff. We didn't hear that. And we'd watch the recording, video, and to match up the time. And nobody reacts, but when you listen back here, Laura's saying Caldwell clips got. The Whispering Lady. We done Caldwell. There was 6s or something. That's the investigation, and everybody else was hearing sharp intakes of breath, and it wasn't through an apparent, and they were hearing it. So I was sitting in the stairs, and I heard this woman. I call her the Whispering Lady. I'll send it to you. It's actually on a TikTok. It was just this sentence for a lady right beside me, and everybody reacted at the same time. Now the funny thing was, I never heard any of the intakes of breath, and they never heard this lady, but the two of them happened at the exact same time. So I thought everybody else was reacting to the lady, and vice versa. And so we played this clip over and over and over, and we could not work out what she was saying. And it was actually, I don't know if you know Jim Martin.
I do.
He was actually him that ended up breaking it down. And he says, what she's asking is your light better now? He says, if you watch the footage, you move your EMF meter and it lights up. And then you move it again and it lights up. And then she asks you a question. She says, that's no through the app. She was beside you. But Laura's mentioned Loudon. Now, this is a weird thing, Jenny. In Spigwell this night, we went to Loudon, which is about 20 miles or something to Caldwell. And I had the headphones and the blindfold on. And the same I heard the same sentence in my ear.
Do you think she followed?
Well, see, I don't get freaked out. I don't get, sort of run away or anything, but I had to take the headphones and blindfold off it, and I says to her, I says, I'm done, And I says, I don't know. I mean, this was about 2 years, a year and a half apart, something like that. So we couldn't explain that one. Why I would hear it. And I think that's what makes it fascinating. It must be the same for you, that you just don't know.
I know. You think you know. Like a friend of mine, Mary Nolan, said, one of the locations here in Ireland, Loftus Hall, is like an onion. There's so many layers to it. Absolutely. It's the same with other locations. So many layers to it. Like I always say, like not all history is written in books. You do get names. You do get people who used to live there or work there, but nobody knows of them. Nobody knows of them at all. And I know in October, myself and Alan and the Emerald Isle team will be doing an event in the museum. And I think it's going to be called Unheard Sounds of Millmount. And we were kind of coming up with a name or something like that for it. And I'm a bugger for coming up with names. So I kind of named Unheard Sounds of Millmount. So people know some of the history of it, but never heard exactly what goes on inside it. So we're going to be doing in October. We're going to go through all the audio and video footage from that location and show people what really historical this place is.
What about Millmount? What's it called? Millmount?
Drogheda Museum, Millmount. Millmount.
What about Millmount? Millmount Unheard.
Millmount Unheard. Did you say Millmount Unheard?
Millmount Unheard. What about that for a title?
We could do either of them. The Unheard Sounds of Millmount or Millmount Unheard. I like mine better.
just plain and simple. But it's when I was going to ask you is over here we've got quite a few locations that that are hiked right up.
Oh yeah.
No doubt are the same over there.
Hiking up locations.
Do you find that you get more activity at lesser known locations?
I would say it's equal. I really would say it's equal. I know some locations are bombarded with teams time and time and time again. And, I'm sure they get bored and it's getting worn and torn, some of the locations. The locations that are hardly used, it's like the icing on the cake. Because not many people go there or nobody goes there. And so you're hearing something, they're speaking to someone for the very first time. Like, it's like that thing when you're sitting on your own and somebody comes beside, say, is somebody sitting here? And you can turn around and say, you see me? Kind of thing. I will do that. I will do it. That if you go to these, and I've been to locations that a few teams have been to, but not bombarded by a lot. And it's kind of special, and if I can say that it's not ruined by a lot of teams.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's you get a little bit more from the non-ruining of teams. Do
you think it's maybe partly because the spirit in a lesser known location, they don't get much attention, and so it's they came to see me, I'm going to talk to them.
Yeah, it's like that thing again. You can see me, you can hear me, kind of thing. So it's new for them, and then you have to explain. You have to explain what you're doing, who you are. If like a recorder, just explain a recorder, because some will know recorder, some won't. But you just explain. But it's personal, if that makes sense.
I'm trying to think of that film with Ricky Gervais in it.
Afterlife? Is it Afterlife? No, it's not Afterlife. It's the movie. Yeah, the movie where he can see a lot of dead people and they follow him around and he's cracking up, basically.
He's a grumpy dentist. But then who's to say that that's not what it's really like?
Sorry again?
Who's to say that that's not what it's really like?
It's really like where people kind of go to you like mediums and say, like, can you see me? I would love that. And I know a lot of people say, no, Jenny, you wouldn't. I kind of probably would like it. I'd like to, I know when I go to locations and, I always say the longer you're in this field, the more open up you become in it. Like I know back in the day when I started out, I'd be like the blind leading the blind. I lead you into danger. I mean, I would lead you into danger. There could be sulfur, there could be horns sticking out of a wall, but I'll still lead you into that area because I can't sense the danger.
Let's get in the big dark cave that's on fire.
Back in the day, I'm at this so long back in the day, we'd have a cat carrier with a cat in it, and that was your K2. If that goes off, you don't go any further. If the cat goes, then something's happening. something is there. Or if you send a canary in and it doesn't come back out, then you don't go in. That cat is going to be one of them in a cage that I'm going to bring into a tunnel and leave it there. Sorry, Adam.
It seems quite lively.
I do it on everybody's show. I do it. And yeah, I work in rescue and all of that. So no, I'm not going to make a cushion out of him or leave him in a cage. So, you don't have to report to me. It's okay. But I will put him in
a alive anyway. Not alive, maybe another time. Go do it when alive. You know what I mean? But you say the more investigations, the longer you're in the paranormal, I think because the longer you're in the more you open yourself up, because
very much.
If you're looking at you're getting all these experiences, these feelings, these voices, whatever it might be, and you're starting to. I see this long time ago that when you start in the paranormal, there's a kind of barrier, but the longer you do it, the more that barrier drops because you're experiencing more, and so you're taking it on board more. That makes sense.
That's it. It's like your third eye open. I know now when I start going into locations, I will get names. Now, some of them are very wrong, but let me tell you, they're not all wrong. And I will get names. And I know the guys are laughing at me when I say, I know there's a Petulia here. And they're like, oh my God, Petulia. And I'm like, oh, I'll find her. But once the name Petulia comes to my head, and it's an old name. So I will find her. And I know the guys are laughing at me. And they rolled their eyes last night behind the camera on a live. And I said, is Petulia here? And I'd look back at one of the Alan and he'd be like, Jenny and her names. Oh, but she'll come. I know she'll come. But when I was calling out names beginning with O last night, and I said, Rosemary, I said to Alan, I have a name. And he said, like, what have you got now, Jenny? And I'd be like, a Rosemary. I have a Rosemary. Or all the names I could think of a female with an or. Like I got a Helen right. I don't know how we are with Dave now. Dave hasn't confirmed. He's Dave with David. So then I was going through the names and I said, Rebecca is Rebecca. So when we went back on the audio, me and Alan looked at each other because you could hear Rebecca. And I'm like, my work here is done. I told you I got one of the names right.
I like that, the old, my work here is done, I'm off. But you see, that's the thing. I mean, I'm no psychic, I'm not a medium or says nothing, but sometimes you just get, I mean, it's few and far between, but I've been in investigations, and I mean, one night at Loudon, I think Spike was there as well. It's a family burial plot up the back, and we've identified two of the people above you. But I was standing against a fence, and I just get a strong feeling that a man standing on the other side of the fence, maybe 3 or 4 feet away from me. And it was one of the feelings you turn when you expect just to see him, because you knew he was there. And I says there's a guy standing right beside me. You just know he was there. And you can't explain this. When we done another location with Spig and Dennis, who was in the chat, I was doing the stairs myself, and I was on a live, and I don't know if Dennis will remember this or not, but it was a long, an L-shaped corridor, and I was doing the bottom, and the other part, it was just a wee short bit of corridor. I couldn't get down it because as soon as you went down there, the signal went. But I had the feeling that there was a male standing with his arms folded. Staring at me. I said, if I can see him. And he says, there is a male there. Dennis is quite spot on me what he picks up. And you can't, as you see, you get names in your head or whatever. You don't know where they come from, but they
pop in. Genuinely, they pop in. And I remember standing outside the museum one night, and because the museum is 5 minutes away from me, it's in my town, it's the Emerald Isle base location. So we do go to it pretty often. So we were standing out one night, and the glass doors, looking through the glass doors, and then there's it's probably 80-foot corridor. And then at the very, very bottom, the doors open and the sensor light is there. So nobody's in the building. We're all outside waiting for some of the team to arrive. And so I said, right, let's call out here. Because I'm very kind of like, I don't know about the sensor lights. I have to, be very convinced. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm calling out and I'm saying a few names. And I said, no, I kind of like Helen. I said, if your name, little girl that's there. And I said, if your name, I said, is your name Helen? And people, I could be sitting there one night. Is there a Tom? Is there a Paul? Is there a Sharon here? Is there a Tracy? Is there a Margaret? You know? And they're like, Jenny, what is wrong? Can't help it. Then it's like Whoopi Goldberg and the movie Ghost. You know, that she has a
either the seance, but
yes, yeah, it's kind of like the names are coming to her. So I said, is your name Helen? And the light went off. It went on. And we were like, okay, we are like away from this, further than where I am, that wall behind me, and then the other wall and the next door neighbor behind. We were that far away. So we can't go off. So I'm saying, is your name Helen? And the light goes on. And I said, if I'm right, turn it off now. And it goes off. And I'm like, I don't like to be proven right with these lights. You know, don't do it. Turn it on, turn it off. Do it quickly. Count to 3 and turn it off. You know, if it really happening, 1, 2, 3. And if it goes off and I say, 1, 2, 3, turn it back on. And it goes back on. Well, then we're onto something. So I have fun with those lights. Turn it off. And then we kind of use it for the ages. So I could count up to 27 and then the light will go on. So I'm thinking, right, are you really 27? Or is it just because a fly farted and the light went off? You know, I just don't always get the sensor lights. But last night was pretty good. Louise brought in new sensor lights and they were, we were all downstairs. And these lights will, the strip lights, and they will light up. And Lou was looking at the CCTV camera and she'd seen it flash. So we did a playback on it. And yes, the lights kind of lit up the hallway. We're all downstairs. So this was sensor motion lights. So you can do voice activated or sensor motion. And then she had it on the sensor motion. So we're going to go through the recorders to see if it matched up to the time that the lights went on.
You need to let me,
extra work that we like to throw in there for ourselves.
you need to let me know if it does, you know, does match up.
Sure, absolutely.
See, it's stuff you just can't explain. I'm getting back. Well, my first life way back in the 80s, before mobile phones, basically. Not giving away my age. I'm only 37. Was that Irish there?
Yeah. Oh.
No, I mean, I forgot. Aye, that's what I was going to say. Back then, it was just landlines, you know, and we'd be sitting in the phone thing, and I would say,
smoke signals.
No, I'm not that old. Seriously, you know, come forward a wee bit in time. Jesus, we had the wheel and running water. You know, but the bathroom wasn't outside; it was in the house.
Go fetch it.
You know. Aye. So it was. You picked me up what I was saying. So it was landlines then, and the phone would ring, and it was obviously that's your mum, or that's your sister, and it would be. And right, ex used to say to me, "How do you know that?" I said, "I don't know. Just that's your mum phoning." And it used to freak her out. It freaked me out. Kept out, how the hell do I know that? And so I started a wee joke saying, "Oh, it's your mother's ring." I don't know if you've ever heard that saying, "Oh, it's your mum's ring." You know, it's your dad's.
Oh no!
You never heard that one?
No, I heard of it. I heard like, you know, mum's ring, but it could be the same.
It's the same ring.
Yeah.
But I would say, that's your mum on the phone. What? How did you know that's my mum?
It's like the sixth sense, isn't it?
You just, I've got no idea. I've got no idea.
Oh, would you please? Yeah, thank you. We're just throwing logs on the fire. It's like the sixth sense or intuition, maybe. I know one time in the museum, I know I could mention the museum, like we do spend a lot of time there. And we had one of the team members in the stocks, and I'm standing there and alive. Excuse me. Oh, the Lord, hold on my throat. So I'm standing there and alive, and Alan's standing right behind me. So I was wearing my T-shirt. And sometimes I like to wear long sleeves because when you're touched, you feel it when there's nobody around, but you feel it. And it's happened many times. And it's that adrenaline, and I love it. And I just want it to happen more often, but do it nicely. Don't put your hands around my neck. That's all I ask, just little touches. So I always wore my jacket, but one night it was too hot last year. And so I just had my T-shirt, and I said, I'm calling out for this woman because I put Aiden in the stocks. So then I said, I felt something on my arm, just brushing on my arm like that. And I said to Alan, where are you? And he said, I'm right behind you, not directly behind me, but about 20 feet behind me. And I said, are you sure? And I turned my phone around, and he was behind me, but then gradually kind of came up closer to me after I had called him or something like that. And I said, I felt something on my arm. And he said, what did it feel like? And normally most people would say spider web. That common thing when you feel a spider web, it's like
you get it in your face or something.
Yeah. And I said to him, it felt like a feather. I've never said anything like that. I always go spider web, if and when it happens. So, and he goes, what did you say? And I said, like a feather. And he turned the light on, and the look in his face and I'm like, what? What did you do? What happened? You weren't behind me messing. But the team are not that stupid when we are calling out. Like if somebody says, you want me to leave? And I sometimes go, yeah, little joke if I got tired. But he wouldn't have done anything. So he turned the light on. He goes, Jenny, look at your bottom. Look at your foot at the bottom on the right-hand side. And it was a feather. And he said, earlier on the night, himself and Aidan went into the first part of the kitchen. They seen a feather on the ground. They picked it up and put it on the cabinet deck. Huh?
On the dresser.
On the dresser. Were you there that
night? I came after that happened.
That's when we told you, yeah. So we put it on the guys put it on the dresser. And then so you have one part of the kitchen, middle part, and then the third part at the bottom. That's where we were. And the feather was put into the first part.
Mm-hmm.
So did the feather travel into us? Did someone rub me on my arm? When the difference between a spider web and a feather. It's just things you wouldn't say. I felt a feather, but I felt a feather. Like a tongue twister. I felt a feather.
It's just I don't know. It's that I think is what attracts me, the paranormal. It's just that you just don't know. And I know your thoughts on this. You go to investigate. We've done it before. You go to investigation and you get a flat night.
Yeah.
And I know to a lot of people that might seem boring, but to me that's part of it, and it's how can I put it? It's just sitting there. I mean, you can sit in a graveyard for 2 hours in total silence, but it's just sitting there waiting and not knowing what's going to come in the next minute or two.
Aye, and do you go over the audio where you think it's a flat night?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be as active as it would normally be, but you still get something. I know when we were in the museum once again, the museum, we will go to different locations in April, we promise, but we're in the museum and it was a very flat night until we went over the live. And I said, I'm going to ask you again, do you want to play a game of cards? And you hear a man saying, yes, it's that good. We have it up on our page. We have it up on TikTok, excuse me, and so on. And when myself and Lou went into the Jim Gary room at the end of the night, Lou did the Estes method. So I'm calling out questions. And that's the room where I seen a man standing. In my head, I seen him standing. So I described him out. Mm-hmm. And people think you're mad. Oh, I see this person. You're thinking, oh, here we go again. Until I started visualizing just that one man in that room. And then locations that I go to, especially castles and so on, I always feel the wall. Always feel the wall and imagine what it would be like to be in those days. And I think that's what opened you up a little bit more for that investigation on the night.
I may try that. I've never done that.
Yeah, definitely. And most of the castles are made with limestone, and they collect everything like what's a stone tape theory.
Stone tape theory. I've never tried.
Yeah. Oh, I did it before. Oh, yeah. I know being in Cabra Castle when my brother was getting married, and we were all up in our rooms and so on. And I remember walking down this spiral staircase, nice hotel castle spiral staircase. And I remember feeling the wall, and the wall was, round. So I'm feeling the wall going around, imagining myself, oh, I have to go to dinner now, in my big dress. And I didn't have any gin and tonic at the time. I was just playing like I lived in a castle. And I was like, oh, I have to go down to dinner now. And someone said to me, what were you wearing? And I said, beautiful big dress. And they said, you lived there. And now I look where I bloody live, from a castle to this. What happened? But it's kind of like in your past life that I live in a castle. I don't know. I spend most of my time in them. But
that's, I mean, just where I come with Watercourt, that's, I've got a draw to Greyfriars. I've had it for years. Every time I go to Edinburgh, I need to go to Greyfriars.
I'd love to go.
Even if it's no an investigation, even if I used to go through Edinburgh, just shopping or something, I had to go to Greyfriars. And a few years back, before we started PIH and that, I was in a group, and I put this comment in, and a medium came back and says it's because you were a soldier in a previous life, and it was either Jenni. She says my name was. Says, and you're buried in Greyfriars.
Oh,
that's the drop. But do you ever find? I don't take that as gospel.
I know, but did you ever look for the headstone? Oh, is there a headstone?
There's 492 headstones in Greyfriars.
Check them all. If I was told I was buried there, I'd be, magnifying glass checking every one of them to see if the name is there.
I dare say there's a way I could find out, but I never ever, because I thought the amount of headstones in Greyfriars, I'd be there for a month.
Could you find out from, say, the parish, the records, and look up the name for it?
For the cut, I could actually do that.
For the graves, yeah. I definitely would look into that, just to validate it if it's real or not.
It's just a strange draw. I've had it for years and years. I can't explain, but this medium, if she was a medium, I don't know, she could just have been something, no disrespect to her, but she could have been some whack job just saying, you've lived before,
Well, that's the thing. That's like past life regression. And hi, Nigel. Like past life regression. And I have this thing for Italy. I love Italy. When I went on holidays to a wedding in Italy, I have been to different countries, but I felt like a tourist, a foreigner, a tourist. But Italy was one place where I felt at home. Like nothing was new to me there. I felt like I was at home. And thankfully we stayed in a hotel. The hotel was very, it was where the people had lived, not tourists, not touristy, nothing like that, but it's on a common street where people lived. And I'd watch this woman like put her mat over the line and beat it. And I'm trying to call the dog. And my window shutters, I opened up in my hotel room. It was just quaint and nice. And, but I felt like, I remember being at the airport and I sat in the grass outside having a glass of wine, and I cried because they were calling us in to fly home. And they knew I don't like to fly. I have a great fear of flying. So they thought I didn't want to fly. And I'm like, no, I don't want to go home. If I didn't have my daughter, I wouldn't have gone home. I would have stayed in Italy. And I did a show one night, I think 2 years ago, and we had a husband and wife on, like one, I don't know, the other one's like a Reiki master or Reiki, and the other one's like a witch. And they were saying something to me about Italy, that I lived in Italy. I did drown because I can't swim and I don't mind water. But ever since I had my first daughter, you will not, for love nor money, get me to put my head underneath water. And I always have dreams of tsunamis. Since I was in my 20s, I've always had dreams of tsunamis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. And so, not if you paid me, will I put my head underneath water? So there you go. If anybody wants to stand my head in the pool, you're going to win.
That's how to annoy Jenni. Stick her head in a bath. Stick her upside down in a bath.
Listen, let me tell you, I tried it when I did the Hell and Back, a thing called Hell and Back here in Ireland. And let me tell you, it is exactly what it says, Hell and Back. And the first part of the course was you have to jump into this huge ice bath. And I say about 20 or 30 people could fit in it. And that was they blow the whistle. And it took us 2 or 3 hours to finish this off. We are covered head to toe in muck. Up hills, down hills, sprayed with muck. We did all of that. Oh, the Lord, how we did it. We did all of it. And it was our 40th birthday. So it was kind of like now the old knees wouldn't be able to do what I did. And like we have to climb up hill on our stomachs and, you know, with our elbows underneath this like army net. And I'm halfway there, so I thought, but literally I was going up, I was to the right, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I had to go back over and like still make my way up this hill, this sheet where water is being sprayed on. So the first part of it now, you have to jump into water, and there's a big row of tires, and you have to go underneath the tires to the other side. My team was going ahead of me, and I said to the guy, I said, I can't go underwater. I can't go under the water. I can't. And he goes, just go put your face through the tires. Yeah, I think the tires was giving birth to my face. So I'm like, I'm coming. But you see this coming, and I'm going in because the tires are just so restricted that the tire was giving birth to this face. But I didn't like the water so much that I would not go underneath the water. I'd rather have the tire give birth to this face and just leave tire prints in my face. And that's what happened. But yeah, that's the reason I don't like to go underneath water.
I've done a few assault courses, but nothing as extreme as that. You know, I've done the odd assault course back in the day.
Did you?
But
tough.
I did say it'd be good fun. You know, I would still give it a go. I've never done anything as extreme as that now.
Then you go through electric wires. You have to lie down, lie on the ground, and you have to kind of go like that, and you have these wires going zzz, and that's shocking you. And I said to the guy, "No, you'll give me a heart attack. I can't." And he said, "I promise, I'll turn the watt down." And then I had my hat on me. My hat was covering my eyes. So instead of going straight forward, no, Jenni was doing it. Turn again. Zzz, zzz. Like I just couldn't get through to the very end. And I'm wet at this stage. So it was very painful.
I was a net I crawled under. It wasn't electric.
And then you have to when you're going across this swampy muck area, and if you stand up, you're going to lose a shoe. So you have to lie on your belly just to get even weight and kind of swing over. And then I'm just dying at this stage. And there's a photographer at the other side. So there I just did my cheese face and then go back into my, oh my God, I'm dying face. Never seen that picture yet. But there is one of me up kind of going underneath barbed wire.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Funny to see. I mix all these comments. The guy Loud and I see regularly. No one else can see him, but I was scared of him until I did my own vigil and realised he was protected. There's a part in Loudon's way down the back that the girls wouldn't get near, and so I stuck Laura down there herself one night.
Oh.
I was in the car. I was a minute away outside that part, you know. But the gentleman she's talking about, she'd seen him quite a few times. And it turns out that we know who he is, but he's just there with his family. So that kind of relieved her fear, sort of thing. What's he saying? So it's fine when you're talking assault courses, don't make me hurt. See the abuse I need to get. No, I mean. But I'm going to wind it up there, dear, if that's all right. But I want to do. I want to get you back on for a part 2 because we've had the Emerald Island stuff. I was going to say shit, so stuff like that.
I always typically Irish. I make a long story short. Never happens, and it's not short.
Do you know what? Just before we wind up, that's the best kind of live. You know, I've watched some, and I've said this before again. You know, I've watched some lives, and we've had it as well. I remember, God bless her, one girl had on and says, "No, you know, have you ever been in an investigation?" I say, "No." And so how long have you been at the Paranormal? A year.
Okay.
And you're about 15 minutes in, and you run out of stuff to say. I said, "Have you ever had an experience?" Yes.
Oh,
and then,
I see.
Like that, you know, going to add on to it, tell me your experience, you know. Yeah. So when you get alive and, you know, your guests, the host, whatever, are just yakking away, basically. You know, sometimes it's paranormal related, sometimes it goes away off track.
I'm like that Billy Connolly that I could start one story, do another story, but come back to the first story. And this is why I have pen and paper. So I write down the first story that I'm talking about, just in case I steer onto something else, and then I come back to the first story. Pen and paper.
It's easy enough to do, but I think that's the best kind of live. You just go on, you say hi, and you just start talking.
Yeah,
that's it.
I waffle a lot.
You know,
I do.
But you know, waffle on, waffle.
Aggie, do I waffle a lot?
There's no set topic. I missed that. What did she say?
Aggie, do I waffle or not?
It's all good stuff, but that's the kind of live I like. When you just sit and talk.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Unless there's something specific, you know, that you want to talk about, you know, basically, then you get on that subject. But if you say hello and then see what happens.
That's it. The rest just flows.
There's
a million things. Like there's a million things you could talk about.
There is. You could literally just yak and yak and yak. I mean, I've ended up talking about sweeties and cooking recipes and traveling.
Recipe.
Cooking recipes. You name it. You know, how the best kind of crisps that there are out there. You know, how to eat a packet of crisps the proper way. So, you know, crap like that.
Is there a proper way to eat crisps?
One at a time.
No. The two of us, no. I was
just going to say, you get some people who just open the bag and you know,
corn in with your crisp and chocolate. Maltesers, that's the one. Maltesers, popcorn, and tater together.
On the one bag?
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Oh, that's just wrong.
Never.
Or even take the microwave popcorn when it's still warm in a big bowl, then crisps and the Maltesers and chocolate melts.
Oh my God. Let's go to the shop and get some Maltesers. I have the popcorn. We're going to the shop. Thanks, Laura.
Who's your best pals through? As long as one of your best pals threw grapes at you.
Head. Who threw grapes?
Laura, Laura, that we're going to tie her to a tree and throw cabbages at her. I don't know why. It's just one of the daft conversations that you have. And this has been going on for, I don't know, the best part of 2 years maybe. So she's got this phobia that she's going to get tied to a tree and have cabbages thrown at her. I don't know where the idea came from. It just popped out one day.
Past life. It could be like past life that she probably was a, what can I say? I was going to say a pauper or a peasant. That can tie to a tree and threw cabbage at you. Got to check your past life out just in case. What's your past life, Aggie?
A cabbage thrower or something. A cabbage thrower.
Cabbage thrown at Laura.
You what? See this? You're going to be mixed up with your accent again. You're close to me.
Cabbage. Laura's afraid of being tied up to a tree with cabbages thrown at her.
She's because I says there ages ago. I'm going to
question thing. That could be like the stocks, or like maybe she did a robbery in her past life. As a pauper, and I'm not just saying pauper or a peasant, and maybe this was your punishment. I watched too many movies, but you never know.
Evidently, you do. So that's the punishment in Scotland. If you're caught robbing people, you get cabbages thrown at you.
I'm going to look that up.
I tied to a tree. I don't know if maybe it is a thing in some parts of the world. Maybe it is a punishment. I have no idea.
If you have that like pig's food, that a sow or whatever, like the groff. What do you call it? The wasty old food, and they throw it at people and so on. Scott's head is a grape.
That's Laura's other half.
Oh, he's right though.
You and I will talk, Craig. Don't you worry, sunshine. He's about 6'2" or something, but do you know what? I'll still talk eyes like that. He actually leans on my head. You know what I mean? No, don't you ever. We will. Don't. don't you ever, we will never speak again. I'm off to Asda in the morning to buy some cabbages. I think
Oh, Jesus.
6'5".
Holy Lord.
Sorry, Craig, I got your height wrong. He's 6'5".
That's tall.
So, just before we wind up, what's next for Emerald Isle Paranormal researchers?
And at the very end of it. Where are we next? What are we in? April. On the 28th of April, we have Redwood Castle. On the 29th of April, we have Lep Castle. So we will try and do lives from both of them. I'm sure we will. Lep Castle is a little bit more difficult because of the signal, but we will do a video or we'll do a live from outside the castle up the field where you can see the castle behind us. And Redwood Castle, you can get a live on the second floor on the very top, and we normally go out on the roof of the castle at the when it gets nighttime or the daytime, that you can see the grounds and the land around us. And then the investigation, we can do a little bit of a live of Redwood. I don't think we can do a live from Lep Castle because the signal is really not good. But we'll do our best for it. And then on the 13th of May after that, then we have the Global Ghost Hunt, and we'll be in the Drogheda Museum Millmount for that. It's 2 hours live, and then we have a few more coming up, like Wicklow Jail and other places I can't remember. Athenaeum Museum, sorry, Shawnee, Athenaeum Museum. And yeah, sorry, Shawnee. And a few other places that myself and Lou are looking into. So, fingers crossed, there's a lot.
So you've got plenty on the book. So give them a look up, folks. Paranormal. Emerald Isle. Why don't you just get a short name?
Because we like to make it difficult, and I'm Irish.
EIPR. Emerald Isle Paranormal Researchers. Give them a wee look up. We will have Jenny back for a part 2, because I've hardly asked her anything about her grouping stuff. So, but
nice.
we'll get it, you know. But I will.
Maybe that would be great, yeah.
It's what?
But did you say get a group in?
No, I say that in Scottish. Sorry.
I don't know how to do the accent so wrong.
That sounded like German. Was that meant to be Scottish?
Yeah, a little bit.
Please never do that again. I don't know what. No, in fact, do it one more time before we go. I need to hear that again. What was that?
It's kind of a bit mixed with Scottish and Belfast, I think. A guy der knee.
The knee.
A wee drum. How's your
that's a bit better. A wee drum. That is better. The first attempt. God knows what that was.
That was a little bit of a mixture of accents. But I try until I
think you threw some German in there as well.
Well, Gabrielle, who was with us last night in the museum, is German. So I was saying to her, 9 all night.
That's the only word I know in German, 9. That's the only number I know is 9. But I'll hold on to you for a wee second or two after we come off. I said, I'll hold on to you for a wee second. No, what I said before was we're going to have you back on, because I still want to find out more about your group and stuff.
Absolutely. Definitely. Spot on.
I said that in English, not Glaswegian this time.
I understand. Speak slow.
How come you can understand Rigger, but sometimes you don't understand me?
I don't really understand Rigger all the time. Don't tell him.
You do know he's probably going to watch this at some point.
Hi, Rigger. No, I do. It's David. Sometimes, when I had them on my show, it's like, huh? Sorry. And I hate asking people to repeat themselves, but I talk too fast as well. Sometimes I could really talk too fast. For part 2, just stay at the same speed that you're doing now.
Maybe all right. So we'll say goodnight there. So thanks very much to Jenny and our friend in the back. Sorry, what's her name again?
Aggie.
Thanks very much to Aggie for coming on. Thanks everybody coming into the chat. We're no live again to next week sometime. I'll post in the page. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday, something like that. It's a Bromley Moonlight Nick.
Oh, the Lord! What's it?
I'll put it back up. It's a Bromley Moonlight Nick.
Is that?
It's a Bromley. I'm Scottish and I can't say it. It's a broad bricked moonlight night.
Tonight. A song a friend of mine used to say. We used to sing. My friend's mom used to say "Wee Willie Winky" to my daughter. She was from Motherwell.
Oh, that's Byron right next to Glasgow, where I'm originally from. But now I'm about half an hour, 40 minutes away. But Motherwell,
really?
Motherwell, I'm originally from Glasgow.
I have been to Motherwell, and Jessica's dad is from Dundee. I've been to Dundee as well.
That's
yeah.
about 2 hours for you, about an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's not that far. You know,
I love Edinburgh. I've been in Edinburgh. Breathtaking city. Breathtaking. I love it. We're doing the Irish goodbyes.
I'm going to end it there because this keeps going on night. So thanks again to Jenni and Aggie for coming in, and thanks everybody for watching. And we're back again next week, but I'll post on the page because I can't remember when. But have a great Easter, and we hope the big bunny brings you plenty of eggs or whatever it is your thing is for Easter. I don't know.
Chocolate eggs,
cabbages, whatever. No. I'll hold on you a wee second, though, after we come.
Thanks so much for having me on. Thanks a million.
No, but right. Talk to you soon, folks. Take care. Bye. Bye.